Hi guys, welcome to my coffee show. My name is Jack and today we are talking about Varia Flo. What is it? How does it work? Is it any good? And also at some point I'm going to compare it with the nearest competition, Orea V4. So very exciting video, you know which button to press if you're as excited as myself. First, let's talk about the brewer itself. It comes in this very nice box. If I pay extra, I want to have a nice unboxing experience. Inside the box you will find the dripper itself and have a look. It looks great. The design I really like. It's made out of steel, not aluminium. Apart from the silicone gasket inside, you won't find anything other than steel here. It weighs 167 grams to be precise, so it's not that heavy. You would think something made out of steel should be heavier. But here, a very clever solution. It has that dual wall system. This dual wall system helps you to improve the thermal stability, and also after you finish brewing, you can touch it outside without burning your fingers. The name Flo stands for Flexible Liquid Output, and this one, according to the leaflet, offer you evolved drip coffee experience. Why so? Because it comes with 3 different attachments, 3 different bottoms. I really like those colors. Very nice design. They are photo etched, made out of steel. 2 of them, medium and slow, you can find in the box. The fast one is already attached. Those bottoms are very thin, but they look solid, they look strong. To change the bottom, very simple. You just rotate the top of the brewer anti-clockwise and you can quickly swap it for another one. Make sure you tighten it up properly and then you're ready to brew. According to the website, it should work with all filters that work with flat bottom brewers. I'm using this Japanese Kalita 185. The brewer volume is 350 ml, but if you use those Kalita filters, if you want to avoid the bypass, you probably won't be brewing to the full of the capacity. The price of this brewer is below £50, I think 49 if I remember correctly. You have to pay shipping on top of that. On the website you can also find different attachments, different shapes. The recommended price for each of those attachments is £19. They sell it for 11 right now, but 90, even 11 seems rather steep. But then again, if you think about it, each of those bottoms should transform your brewer into a new brewer, so each of those £11 you spent should give you a new brewer, technically, theoretically. I started brewing without really reading any instruction, any manuals. I wanted to see what I can get out of this brewer without getting influenced by the jargon on the website and so on. First, I just wanted to see how fast or otherwise it brews. The recipe that I normally use, 15 grams of coffee, 250 grams of water. Water temperature I choose depending on the coffee. I just look at the coffee bed, and when I notice the water is almost drained but not completely drained, then I do another pour. So obviously I started with the bottom that was already attached, and the first few brews took in around 3 minutes. I'm grinding with Cafec Max 2, then I changed to the medium attachment. This one brew in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Then I changed to the slow attachment, and this one brew in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. What they call the fast attachment actually took the longest to drain. I thought, you know, maybe I was not precise with my brewing, so I done a very simple brew. And I repeated it a few more times. Why the fast opening actually is the slowest, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe the fast does not mean it's the fastest, but what else could it mean? Anyway, for my taste test, all of them, they drain in about the same time. Now, talking about the taste test, they talk a lot on the website about the cooperation with Kurasu, Japanese coffee shop. So I would think that they really done the researches. So I wanted to make sure that my results are as accurate as possible. I wanted to do multiple samples. Obviously, I would not be able to make multiple coffee tastings while recording the video. It would take too long, and also after a few samples, every pour over tastes about the same. So I've done many tests, most of them blind tests, and my results here, I was always able to identify what they call the slow attachment. It has that increased sourness, which I like, which I enjoy. It's a nice, pleasant, fruity sourness, but sometimes I think it overpowers the rest of the flavor notes. Now, between the medium and the fast attachment, the medium attachment often gives me a little bit more sweetness and the sourness is reduced. The fast attachment gives me more body and there is a nice balance between sourness and sweetness. It offers me the most complex flavor notes. But hands on heart, I would lie if I say that each time I was able to detect which is which. I used 2 different coffees. The main one was this one, so that's the Nomad Coffee Roasters from Spain. Very good coffee. And after many tests, I decided to choose that fast attachment, especially it's my favorite one. Why am I telling you about this? Because now we're going to compare it with its competition. So that's the white Orea V4, the newest Orea. I have a video about that if you care to check, a few videos. So Orea V4 comes with 4 different attachments. You can also very easily change those attachments, just unscrew the bottom and you change it for a different one. You don't have any silicone gasket here, but I haven't noticed any leaks. Apart from the cola, it's made out of plastic, so it's lighter, 107 grams, 60 grams lighter. And it also works with all the flat bottom filter papers. One of the viewers asked me about the negotiator here, so yes, for another £22 you can get a negotiator for this Orea V4, which helps you to, well, push the filter into the brewer. When you use Kalita filters, it can even out the edges. When you look at the sizes of those two brewers, Varia is taller, Orea is wider, and therefore this negotiator, although you can push into the first part of the Varia, it won't reach to the bottom, it won't negotiate all the way down. After I finish negotiating the Orea V4, the filter lies very nice and flat, and on that Varia Flo, well, it doesn't look that neat. It would be nice at some point to get a negotiator for this one. I'm sure someone will design it sooner or later. Now, to compare those two brewers, to compare each of the attachments, that would take too long, so I will choose this standard attachment on the Orea V4. The reason is that it is very similar to Orea V3, so if you own the Orea V3, that should still give you some understanding about the differences between those two brewers. At some point I will have 2 cups of pour over here. Underneath each cup there is a letter. O is for Orea and V, it should be for Varia. I will put the recipe somewhere on the screen. We're going to use this coffee from 3 Marks Coffee Roasters. This particular coffee is from Colombia, anaerobic natural processed coffee with the flavor notes of raspberry jam, grapes and dry prunes. Well, let's do it. Let's see which one is better. So 2 cups are ready. I will taste each at random, wash my mouth in between. We will see what we can get here. Okay, I've been testing, as you can see, 2 cups are almost gone. It's one of those difficult decisions that I have to make here. Both very good cups. Here the juiciness, it's slightly deeper, and I like that juiciness here very much. I think there is slightly more body to this cup. Here, juiciness slightly lower, but there is a degree of sweetness. If you look hard enough, you get a little bit more of the complexity. I will go for the one that gives me that deeper sourness, because it fits nicely with the flavor notes of the coffee. So the cup that won today, can you see what is it? Varia! So guys, if you are still here, definitely click like, consider subscribing to the channel, plenty more things coming. I really like the look of this Varia, especially when you compare it with this plastic Orea. It would work nicely as a setup with the hand grinder from Maza X or whatever they call it. It's also made out of the same steel. Talking about the steel here, it looks great, but especially when you have a hard water like myself here in London, it leaves stains. This one, because it's black, you don't see much. For those of you who want to take your brewer for when you travel, but you don't want plastic for whatever reason, this would be a perfect solution. It looks very sturdy. One thing to notice here, it's they're relatively wide at the bottom, so it does not sit nicely on my carafe from Orea. I was slightly disappointed with those attachments, because when I get something with 3 different attachments, I would expect to get a clear difference in a taste. The price of both of them is the same. Obviously still it's a more expensive material, but you only get 3 attachments here. Here you get that extra attachment, that apex attachment. So if someone likes to experiment with the coffee, this one will offer you more. Now if you ask me, how often do you use that apex attachment? Well, I haven't tried it that often. I usually stick with the fastest attachment. So if you are as lazy as myself, if you don't care that much about those multiple attachments, each of those brewers is great. But then again, if you pay 50 quid and you don't want to play with the attachments, maybe find something cheaper. For those of you who don't know me, I'm just a home barista. I'm not a pour-over champion, you know, I'm not some extremely gifted coffee taster. I'm just a regular guy who tastes coffee. I know what I'm looking for in my cup. During my rehearsals, I was using this coffee, and when I was comparing those two, I was often going for the Orea V4 because of the complexity of the flavor. Today, it also gave me more complex flavor, but with this slightly more developed coffee, that extra juiciness, a little bit more body possibly, that's what convinced convince me to go for the cup from Varia. In the comments, share with us what is your favorite brewer. If you had a chance to play with any of them, let me know what you think. But for today, thank you very much for watching. My name is Jack, this is my coffee show, and hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you, bye!